students. So through this video today I'm going to talk about the classification of plant tissues. So in the classification of plant tissues are primarily divided into two broad categories. One is called meristematic tissue, and another type is known as permanent tissue. Now, if we observe this meristematic tissue, this type of tissue and their cells, they can multiply, they can divide, and then they can grow. Okay, but if we observe the permanent tissues, here the cells, they lost their ability to divide, they cannot multiply. And these permanent tissues, it mainly derived from the meristematic tissues. Okay, so meristematic tissues grows and few meristematic tissues are mainly turned into a permanent tissue. Now meristematic tissues, these are mainly located in the growing parts of the plant. Growing parts of the plant, because these type of tissues, they are having the ability to multiply, to divide, their cells are having the ability to divide. So that's why meristematic tissues, in case of them, it is mainly found in the growing part of the plant, mainly in the tip part of the leaf, in the tip part of the stem, in the tip part of the root, as well as in the lateral part of the plant. Because if we observe the plant is growing vertically as well as laterally. So in vertical growth as well as in lateral growth, in both of the cases, meristematic cells are mainly responsible. So on the basis of the location of these meristematic tissues, it is mainly divided into two main categories. One is called apical meristem. One is called apical meristem. So this kind of meristematic tissue, it is mainly located in the tip part of the root or tip part of the shoot. And in the lateral part, the meristematic tissue which is mainly located, it is called lateral meristem. So meristematic tissues, these are of two types. One is apical meristem and another is lateral meristem. Apical meristem, it is also known as terminal meristem, and lateral meristem, it is also called as cambium meristem. And there is another type is also present, that is called intercalary meristem. Now this apical meristem, it is mainly located in the growing part of the stems, leaves and the roots. That means in the tip part, where the cell division is going there, where the cell division is going, and the meristematic cells, they are dividing through mitosis, and then they proliferate their number, they are doing growth in that particular portion. And lateral meristem, it is mainly helping in the lateral growth. Lateral growth of the plant, it is indicating that below the bark portion the cells are there, they are growing, and this way the diameter of the plant become increasing. So this lateral, for the lateral growth of the plant, the lateral meristem is responsible. Actually the lateral growth of the plant, it is the secondary growth of the plant, and the vertical growth of the plant, it is the primary growth of the plant. So we can say that apical meristem, it is responsible for primary growth of the plant, and the lateral meristem, it is responsible for the lateral growth or the secondary growth of the plant. Now if we come in the permanent tissue, why it is called permanent? Permanent tissue because it gains a permanent shape and thus it can perform a permanent function. So on the basis of the function, we can divide the permanent tissues into three main categories. We can divide them into three main categories. So one is protective tissue, Another type is supporting tissue, and third type is called conductive or conducting tissue. Okay, so on the basis of the function, permanent tissues, we can divide them into three main categories. One kind of permanent tissue which is helping in the protection of the plant, we call them as protective permanent tissue. Some kind of permanent tissues, they are mainly providing strength, mechanical support, and we call them as supporting tissue. And another type of permanent tissues are there, those who are mainly helping in the conduction of water, minerals and the food, and we call them the last type, the conducting tissue. Now these supporting tissue, as I told you already that they are mainly providing support, these supporting tissue we can further divide them into three main categories. We can divide them into three main categories, and these are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So these are all, they are providing support. Some are providing temporary support, some are providing a permanent support to the plant. If we talk about the parenchyma, it is mainly providing a temporary support to the plant. The main function of the parenchyma is to store the food material, okay, as in potatoes. Collenchyma and sclerenchyma both are providing a mechanical strength, or we can say they are providing a support to the plant. So thus we just place them under the supporting tissue. Conducting tissue, as I told that conducting tissue, that means they are conducting some substances. Okay, some of the conducting tissues, they are conducting or transporting water and minerals, and that is also one kind of conducting tissue, and specifically it is called xylem tissue. And another type of conducting tissue is there which is mainly transporting food substances, and we call them as phloem tissue. So I am writing here about the conducting tissue. So conducting tissue, we can divide them into two main categories. One is called xylem tissue and another is called phloem tissue. So this xylem, it mainly transports water and minerals from the soil by absorbing their root, then it mainly upwardly moving to the leaf portion of the plant. So they are helping in the upward movement of the water and minerals, and only one way they are just moving the substances. They are only one way they are moving the water and minerals to the tip part of the plant, mainly to the leaf portions of the plant, because the leaf, they are using that water in the process of photosynthesis for the production of food. Where the phloem tissue, this tissue, it mainly helping in the transportation process of the food. The food which mainly manufactured by the photosynthesis process, that food is mainly transporting to the various, mainly to all parts of the plant through the phloem tissue. So this xylem, it is also conducting tissue. Phloem, it is also conducting tissue, but their conducting substances are not same. And if we observe the xylem and the phloem tissue, in this kind of tissue, there are different kind of cells are present. In case of xylem, there are different kind of cells are located. In case of phloem also, different kind of cells are present. And thus, we call them as complex tissues. But if you observe the parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma, here similar kind of cells are present, and we call them as simple tissue. So parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, we can consider them as simple tissues, and xylem and phloem, we can consider them as complex tissues. Now, if we observe the parts of the xylem, in the xylem there are four parts are present, and these are tracheids, xylem vessels, then xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers, or it is also called as xylem sclerenchyma. And out of these four parts, xylem parenchyma, it mainly the living part of the xylem tissue. Whereas phloem, the four parts are sheath tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. So here most of the parts are living. The sheath tube, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, these are all living part. Only the phloem fiber or the phloem sclerenchyma, this is the non-living part of the cell. This is the non-living part of the phloem tissue. So this is about the categorization or the classification of the plant tissues. Okay, so hope you like this video, and please subscribe my channel for more videos. Thank you for watching this video.